Welcome to Comics Bazaar, the channel of comics commentary and arcana. This video features Marvel Comics Presents number 82, which came out in 1991, and this is chapter 10 of Weapon X, but it's part 11 of the story. So the cover here by Barry Windsor-Smith, penciled, inked and coloured by Windsor-Smith, an amazing image of Logan up close and getting shot at. Loads of shell casings flying around him, and whoever's shooting at him is aiming for his battery pack there. And the contortion of his anatomy and Windsor-Smith's command of human anatomy here is very much reminiscent, to me at least, of the old Renaissance masters, in particular the Italians like Michelangelo, like Bernini the sculptor, and also Caravaggio as well. Very much on that level of skill and ability and comfort moving around the human body from all angles and perspectives. And of course, typical of Windsor-Smith too is that almost stained glass background. Those are computer screens and pieces of gadgetry and technology, but a really nice, almost, as I said, stained glass or even Art Deco type background for this striking cover image. Let's open this one up to the credits page, and here we see the credits for Weapon X. It's chapter 10, as I said, but part 11 because the first part is the prologue. As Logan stalks the professor, the terrified professor tries in vain to contact his mysterious project leader. That was what was going on in the previous chapter. Credits there, story and art, Barry Windsor-Smith, letterer Jim Novak and BWS. So what Windsor-Smith is doing in terms of lettering is he is doing the sound effects, but also indicating where the letters should go, the speech balloons and captions over the art, and Novak is doing the actual lettering within those speech balloons. So this picks up immediately from the end of the previous chapter where Logan has emerged into the hub of the reactor room, and that's where the trio have fled to shelter from Logan, but he's ripped his way into the room and now they're facing him. And what a great angle. We've got Logan's body framing three sides of this particular panel, and in the middle of it we have the trio. The professor has had his hand lopped off by Logan with his adamantium claws. Yeah, really, really great stuff. And this particular chapter, like the previous one, is more or less in the mode of a horror type story as they're being stalked by the weapon that they themselves produced via Experiment X. Now Weapon X is after them. So the professor orders Cornelius, Dr. Cornelius, there to shoot Logan. Look, professor, he says, he's faltering. I don't know, I think he's had it. I mean, he's too weak to attack. He's lost a lot of blood. But the professor, who's always so arrogant and so dismissive of everyone, says, that blood is what's left of our security guard, you fool. He's controlled and programmed to kill us all. Now, use the gun now while we still have a chance. And Cornelius says, but he ain't even moving, professor. And now we turn the page and we get that splash, that great splash page, as the professor pushes Cornelius from behind, slaps him, Vok in the sound effect, and Cornelius shoots away blindly from the rifle, and so it starts hitting all the equipment there behind Logan, as well as his battery pack on one side of his hip too. And that is pretty much that angle that we're getting on Logan there is a reverse angle on the moment that Windsor-Smith chose for the cover. You can see that. And there we go. So here on the splash page, we get to see who's shooting at him. And it's Cornelius with the weapon he picked up in the previous chapter. So that is a great image there. Very dynamic. Another great image here where Windsor-Smith reverses the camera angle and we get to see the trio around Logan's fallen body. He's roaring there on the ground, and the professor orders Cornelius to target the power packs, shoot away the receivers. So Cornelius gets in closer as Hines is crawling away on her hands and knees, and Logan's getting up. He's still alive, says Cornelius. That's incredible. But the professor, so focused on the task, shoot, you fool, Cornelius, and Cornelius hesitates. Oh God, he says, and Logan's up, and that is just such a great image there. Look at what he's done. He's got him, by the back of the neck. He's holding him by the back of the neck and punching through with his adamantium claws right through Cornelius's torso and out his back. A really, really great image. And you can feel the weight there as Logan's lifting up Cornelius. So well done. Just a unbelievable command of human anatomy has Windsor-Smith. And then great layouts on this particular page. These two slender vertical panels. We're looking up at Cornelius as he is impaled on Logan's claws. Of course, this is a Comics Code approved comic, so we cannot see those claws emerging from his back. That would be too gory for the time, but it's effective nonetheless because our focus is on Cornelius. Look at him with his hands gripping Logan's bicep there as he's impaled on the claws and dying, and then Logan just punches in even further, and we do get to see the blood streaming down Logan's arm there. And meanwhile, in our foreground, Hines is running away screaming, and the professor there execrating Cornelius even as he's dying. Idiot, idiot, he calls him. Imagine hearing that as you're dying. What a dynamic those two had. So this is a nice panel too, where we get to see the professor and Hines. They're in the distance, about to go up those stairs to get away from Logan. And Hines, of course, calling the professor to take account of Cornelius, that they can't leave him, but he just retorts blankly that he's dead. You stupid woman. I couldn't help him, even if I wanted to. I must get to the reactor. And he doesn't want to help him. And another great image there of Logan slamming down Cornelius into the floor and into some equipment there as well. The professor, his hand is bleeding still. Stop sniveling, he says to Hines. Pull yourself together, I need your help now. But what's his plan for Hines? Yes, I'm with you, sir, she says. So they go up that stairway and they're making their way towards the control room. And Hines says, if we could purge the core, because the Experiment X facility is powered by a nuclear reactor, and that core is melting down. If we could purge the core, she says, we could at least save the complex, the labs and data records. And the professor says, of course, Hines, after all, what could be more important than the memory of Experiment X? And there's a great collocation here of what the professor says about the experiment itself, and the subject of the experiment, Logan, is coming to. He's beginning to get his higher functions, cognitive functions back. I know this man, he's thinking, in a memory, a dream of dying. So he recognizes Cornelius. So he's coming to himself. And a great sequence here on the bottom of this page, this trio of panels, where we're looking at Cornelius's dead face. And we've got an upshot of that. We've got the blood coming out of his nose as well and mouth. It's really, really well done. His glasses twisted there on his forehead. And then we see Logan turning around with the equipment, like his battery pack there, buzzing from having been shot at. And we presume because some of those systems have been shot, the receiver's shot, that he's gaining some measure of freedom, that's what's happening. And then this is just a great moment here where Windsor-Smith shows us Logan running away through the one of the lenses of Cornelius's spectacles there. What a great choice for a panel. And look at what he's done there too. So the spectacle here, the magnification of the spectacle means that Cornelius's cheek there is above the side of his face. So Windsor-Smith taking account of that how the lens is changing the perspective on Cornelius's cheek there as well. So well done, so thoughtful, and the lens just covered in blood splatter from Cornelius himself. Really, really thoughtful visual storytelling here from Windsor-Smith. And now we get a great establishing shot of the hub of the core here, and we see the control room up there as well, and we can see that the equipment is failing and the professor is thinking through what to do next. He's got a plan. It's a matter of getting Logan into the exhaust pit. That's down here. So Hines is confused. She's not thinking in the same way as the professor. She questions him. He elaborates. He would be incinerated in seconds. I need a lure of some kind. And he's thinking there. And now he decides who the lure is as Logan makes his way towards them. Ms. Hines, he says, I know you have worked long and hard for Experiment X. And so she doesn't get it. She says, yes, sir. Thank you, sir. You've been a real boon to the good Dr. Cornelius too. And that makes her think of Cornelius. And he says he gave his life for this project. Why, I dare say you would do the same, would you? Not Miss Hines. She says, no, I wouldn't. I don't want to die. It is required, madam, he says. What are you saying, Professor? Why would you want to hurt me, Professor? And then he grabs her by the back of the neck and pushes her over the railing down into the exhaust pit. And this is a great sequence here as she's falling. And we get the little detail there of her tumbling down and her shoe coming off as well. So well done. And the professor, they're saying, don't break your neck, dear lady, because he needs her alive and screaming in the exhaust pit in order to lure Logan to her. So last page of this particular chapter, he races up to the systems control room. She's down on the ground. She is still alive. Her neck wasn't broken. And the professor here up in the control room telling her to scream. Come on, woman, scream, will you? Think of the horror of it all. Use your imagination. And then she screams. And he says, there you have it. So now he's getting advice from the computer. Computer, give current thermal breakdown 200, 30,000 at 70,000 cubic feet. Advise on those numbers. Open fishing gate at once. Begin purge sequence. And open manual control to me, says the professor. Control open, purge begin. So we're coming to the climax of Weapon X now. There he is up in the control room. There's Hines. We've got our perspective on the coming beast. Logan, he's mostly in silhouette with all that electrical fire behind him. So well done, the spotting of blacks on this page. Just amazing work by Barry Windsor-Smith. Probably your eye is drawn to this one, the first page, the splash page here for the next chapter. This art by Dwayne Turner. Not too bad, not in the same league as Barry Windsor-Smith, of course. And it looks like he was doing some studies, life drawings for Firestar here. Not too bad, the work by Dwayne Turner in this particular chapter, but that's not our focus of attention. Focus of attention in this video is Weapon X, and I do hope that you enjoyed this review and commentary on Weapon X chapter 10, but part 11 of the ongoing story. There are only 2 chapters left, so we're coming to the end of this seminal story of the origin of Logan's adamantium skeleton and claws by Barry Windsor-Smith. Let me know your thoughts in the comment sections of the video. If you enjoyed my review and commentary, please like the video on YouTube. Really does help the channel. And if you haven't done so already, subscribe to the channel and stay tuned for more content like this.